Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Board Game Specialist. I am Melanie.
And I'm Carla.
And we are on episode 150. I feel like we should have did something extra special for that. And I was like, 149, right? And she's like, no, 150. And I was like, oh, it just kind of sneaked right in there.
Yeah,
But that's exciting.
That's quite a few.
Actually, you know what? For us recording episode 150, we did do something pretty special today.
Yeah.
For that. Cool. So keep in mind the board game specialist is being invited to be viewed on a new platform. And when we have that more set up, you'll see it there. Actually, maybe you're watching this episode on that new platform. Who knows?
Could be.
Right? So very exciting. But today we are talking about our top 9 games that were published in 2017. And we're doing it year by year now when we're doing this one because it's too hard to narrow it down. How was putting that list together for you, Carla?
This one was a little easier than the last for me.
Yeah, me too.
I think I might have had a list of 15 to choose from that I would think would be my top 9. So it's a little bit easier.
See, I was making it harder because I was making the list and I was like, oh my God, there's so many good ones. And then I realized I had crossed into 2018. So I got to remove 10 games. I'm like, oh, this got easier. So now I've got some games ready for 2018 though.
Awesome.
So keep that in mind. Perfect. Now, before we talk about our list, we're going to talk about games that we've played recently. And as usual, Carla, we're going to start with you. So what have you been playing lately?
So I've been playing a lot of puzzly games, a lot of solo playing lately. There's not a whole lot of game nights in the summer. That's typically time for outdoor activities and things like that. So when I need a little break from the outside, I come in and I'll kind of play a solo game. So this one is called Fyfe. Now, if you like Sudoku, you're going to love this game.
I do like Sudoku.
Yeah, you would like this game. It's definitely a Sudoku-like game because you are just trying to place your pieces onto a grid, and you have these little, they're surfboards, and those are the goal tiles kind of thing. And so you have little bowls at the bottom of your player board. It's all flat, but they look like you're putting these discs in bowls, and you're going to always have 2 to choose from. So one of those you're going to place on your board, and then you're always going to place a goal disc where that tile connects. So if I place it in the bottom right, I would either place one on the bottom row or the top right column. If those are taken, then I wouldn't place one of my goal discs. But that's typically what happens is you draw one out of the bag, put it on your little bowls, decide to choose one, you place it. And what you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to meet as many goals as you possibly can. It sounds easy, but it's very difficult because things kind of cross with each other and they don't work together. So let's say in the bottom row, I'm trying to get everything to be all different colors. Okay, I failed at this one, as you can see. Oh no, I did. I actually accomplished that goal. So you need everything to be a different color. Now, let's say on the top left one, that one looks like I need to have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going down.
Or which you successfully did as well.
No, it might be something different because I can't really see that one. Let's say the second column. I can see what that one is. Second column is all the same color, and I did accomplish that. You'll see there's some joker tiles. They look like a little bouquet of flowers. Okay. Yeah, those are joker tiles, so you can use that as anything. It's typically a 2 to 4 player game, but there was a solo variant that works very, very well. It's quite neat. But you're just trying to accomplish all those things. And if you are going to play with other players, the first person to do one of those goals, because everybody has the same goals, you will get a bonus tile. So in a solo game, it's a little bit different, but it's really just doing that. So feels like, what was that called? Downtown Farmers Market?
Right.
times 10 because it's just a bigger grid and more complication as you go on. At first, you're doing things and it just seems so easy, and then all of a sudden you start contradicting things in columns and rows. But it's really satisfying and a fun little puzzle, and it's just beautiful. I love the theme of the beach and the shells, and you have all your different animals, flowers, and little tribe people and little surfboards. It's really cute, but
Yeah, the art's so
yeah,
nice.
it's a very nice, and the box cover's gorgeous too. But I love this one, and that's my game I'm talking about today is Fife.
Very nice. All righty. So my recent play, and this actually is, I don't know if you saw, I didn't even post it. I was so shameful. I put it on Discord. My total plays for the month of July, and it was less than one a day. It was like so little. I was like, oh my God, this was terrible. And I had gone 2 weeks without playing, and we finally played some games, and we played a few more games. So it's like, it's coming back. It's coming back. Summer is brutal for playing board games. But one of my recent play, and this is like an older game and a game that I had for a while that Nick's girlfriend was over. She's like, I'm curious about this one. I was like, oh, let's play it. And that is Liar's Dice. And we had a blast with this. This is it's such a satisfying game to play. Like, I think it's very easy to explain. So it's really easy to get to the table at any entry level. And basically, this is playing Liar's Dice like they play on the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it was like the second episode. But Nick was like, is this like Pirates of the Caribbean? I was like, yes, it is, actually. So you could do this with just dice. Like, you wouldn't need to have this game, but look at this game. Look at these little cups with like the little pirate symbol. And then I was like, oh, but like there's a cheaper version where there's like, oh, I don't care. I want these cups. So, and you have this little neoprene mat in the middle that keeps track of your bid as well. But what you do, everybody starts with 5 dice. You roll your dice. You put the cup upside down. You look, you peek into, and you can see I was peeking in that one. I had a 5, a 4, a 2, a 6, and a 1. Ones are wild. They can count as any other color. So starting player then would be like, looking at this, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to bid that there's 2 4s. And then I would put the number 4 on the red dice, and I would put it in the 2 position to show that that's what I'm bidding. Next person can either bid higher. So I think there's 3 4s or 4 4s or whatever, or they can bid a higher pip. Well, I think there's 3 5s, like, or you could do both. So, and you're going around. Now, on your turn, you either bid up or you challenge the player that just bid. And he was like, what if you don't want to do either one of those things? Like, that's too bad. You got to do one or the other. Yeah. Oh. So, and keep in mind, everybody who has ones, those are going to count towards whatever you need you're bidding on, right? Be like, okay, well, I think there's 5 4s. And I'm like, okay, I think that's getting excessive because Nick lost 2 dice. You can see at that point he had lost 2 dice. Because when you challenge, if say, okay, I don't think there's 5 4s, I'm challenging. If there is 5 4s, I lose the dice because I challenged and I failed. If the other player that just kind of bid on that and there isn't 5 4s, then he loses a dice. And this is an elimination game. You're playing until there's only one player standing. But it's super simple, super satisfying. Absolutely love this game. And I hadn't played it in so long, and it was a blast. And that's my recent play, Liar's Dice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a fun one. And you play this with quite a bigger crowd too, right?
I think like the one I have is set for 6 players, but you could play with however many dice.
Yeah.
Enough dice you have, like if you're just playing. But this particular game is set for 6 or up to 6.
Nice.
All right.
All right. So here we go. Our top 9 from 2017.
Yes.
I assume I'm first.
You are first.
So my number 9 game is called Fantasy Realms. Now this one is a card game, strictly a card game. Mm-hmm. And I had played this probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm not even sure how I got to play it because I was never into fantasy at all. So this, I would have probably looked right over this, but somehow I played it and oh, did I ever love it. It's a game where when you're playing a multiplayer game, I mean more than two, because the two-player game is a little bit different. You start with a hand of 7 cards. And from then on, you're just trying to get a better hand. And what you're trying to do is mesh each of your cards together. So they're all different kind of suits, which are could be like weather, leaders, army, all different kinds of themes.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them will contradict with others, and some will help others. So you're just trying to, weed out the ones that are going to negate some and then bring in the good cards. It sounds easy, but it's tricky because, you'll think you have the perfect hand, you'll look through every card and then you see one card that actually negates 3 of the ones you had. So you're like, oh, okay, I got to get rid
You
of that
don't
one.
want that one.
Yeah, but I needed that one because it gave me an extra 20 points from another card. So it's quite tricky, but what you do is when you start with those cards and then on your turn you can either take one off the deck or you can take one from the discard because eventually there'll be several discards face up, not in a pile, but just laid out on the table. And you can take from there. And then once there's a certain amount of discards on the table, that ends the game. So once you have a good hand, you can really start to speed up the game, especially if you know other people are really trying to get their hand to be better. And then at the end, all you do is you count up your points. It can be a tricky scoring, but there is an app for this one where you just plug in all the cards and it gives you a score.
Right.
So I just love this one. They made a new one called the Greek Gods, I believe, or Greek something. And
I played a Star Trek version as well.
Oh, did you? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
the Greek one I haven't got it yet, but I'll definitely have to get that because my husband will be all over it. But it's a really neat little card game. They have tournaments at some of the conventions we go to. I did enter one once. I did not win, but won a few of the games. And it's can be a swingy game too because you can have a really good hand and meaning hundreds of points, and then you can also have a really bad hand of under 100 points. So it's just how there's some luck in it, of course, of what you get, what you start with, what you pick up, but you still have to try to figure out the best way to make your hand better, and it's just awesome. But that's my number 9, Fantasy Realms.
That's such a good pick, and it's neat because you will now see this mechanism in other games where they're utilizing that same thing. So very cool. Alrighty, my number 9 is, and I have my list in front of me here, so I know what it is. And this is a game that made me realize that I maybe do like was the area control game. And that is Viral. So Viral is each player is playing as a germ, a microbe, or something like that. And then our goal is to try to infect the body as much as possible. And you have the board, which doesn't look like a body, but it's all the major organs. As viruses, that's what we would see. We wouldn't see the skin, that sort of stuff. We would and we're traveling through the major arteries, like to go from organs to organs, and they're one way, right? So if I'm in the kidney, then and I want to go, like I can't go back down to the intestines. I have to go up and around, so you're kind of have a thing that kind of indicates where you're going from there. And you can become a superbug. So if there's vaccination or antibiotics that's being introduced, you're not gone. You get but down to a regular virus, but you stick around. I really, really like the medicine and the medical theme of this game, mostly since at the time I was working in a pharmacy. So that was like instant in for me whenever I would come across medical themed. This game also is really neat in the iconography. Like you follow along where the finger is pointing and you follow along those steps. So there's 1, 2, 3, and that makes it very clear as to how you play. So 1 is like, okay, well, We determine who has the most control and which things. And then now as a card is flipped, and that kind of determines what happened that round, and there's always something that's happening that round. And then you get to move around and infect or multiply or whatever you want to do. And you're trying to have the majority of your virus in a particular organ so that you'll score that. And each organ will score different points. You have the brain, you have the heart, you have the lungs. And then there's like the right lung and the left lung. And, so you have all these different things that you can go and infect and trying to be the most common bug that's there so that you get the victory points. Yep. And then you kind of decide what turn order is going to be, and then you kind of go again, and then you go until somebody reaches I think like you reach somewhere in the points, and that's going to trigger the end of the game. But the game is beautiful just to look at it, like the whole look of it. The theme is so interesting. I really like this one. And it's 100% is an area control game. And so, yeah, that's such a neat one. And that's my number 9, Viral.
Nice. And you own this one, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good. It's in the family.
It's in the family, yes.
All right, my number 8 is an abstract strategy game, but a beautiful abstract strategy game, and this is Dragon Castle. Now, this looks like it would be a Mahjong game.
Yeah.
There's a slight part of Mahjong in it, but very slight. You will draft tiles off the board like Mahjong, but you don't play them that way. So on the central board, it'll be layered up with different Mahjong tiles, and you have to take one that is available, and that one has to have, I believe, 2 sides opened in order to take it. And when you take it, you're going to place it on your board. And I think you can take 2 tiles. I haven't played it in a while, and then you're going to place them on your board. You can either place them face down or face up. If you place them face down, another tile can be placed on top of it. If you place it face up, you may want to place it next to a like tile because you're trying to group them together. And once you've gotten a certain number of those tiles grouped together, you get to place these little they're like little Japanese roofs on top of them, and you score them. Now they'll score in different ways depending how many you have and which colors. Some colors are worth more than others, and they're more rare, obviously. Now you'll keep going and doing this and you will layer them as well. Like I said, you might put a bunch of just face down ones just so you can build up and get higher points in the higher levels. But you'll keep doing this until a certain point in the game where, depending on player count, you'll play tell how many tiles are left or certain things like that. And then you're going to score your points at the end. You will score within the game, but then you're going to score your huts and the levels they're at the end of the game. You can add in like a little goal that you're trying to reach and an end game goal as well if you want. But it's a very easy rule game, but high strategy, I would say. Like you can play this with anyone, but if somebody's very good at this, it's going to be tough to beat them. So it's nice that way when, if you just want to play as beginners, you just play a nice simple tile game. But if you really get into the strategy of this, it can be a heavier game. But it's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to play. I added the little neoprene mats to my game.
Nice.
Make it feel that much more nice. But that's my number 8, Dragon Castle.
I will say this game takes a bit to set up.
Yes,
like it definitely, because
you have to set up that whole Mahjong thing.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, that's part of my enjoyment of the game is setting it up. It's like a ritual for me, kind of.
Nice.
Especially when I set up before I have a game day. It's like I go set up my game, make it all pretty. Everyone's player board's nice. So that's not the worst thing for me. But if you don't love a big setup, it is a little bit of one.
Yes. Wonderful.
I'm just gonna let my dog
Great
out while you
pick.
talk.
Okay, sounds good. Well, while Carla is letting her dog out, I'm going to talk about my number 8. My number 8 for the games published in 2017 is Near and Far. And Near and Far is really an exciting story-driven game. Sometimes like you play a game and it's like, oh, it feels like you're going on this adventure. This game, you are going on an adventure. That's kind of the theme of the game. And it's so cool because first of all, you have the main board. So at the top of the screen here, you can see we have the village. This is where you're going to prep for the adventure you're going on. You can go to the mine and kind of mine things so that you get resources, or you can go and collect cards that's going to give you kind of like items and tools that you can utilize on the trips. You could go to the saloon and recruit people to join your party to go on these adventures and so on. And as you're doing all of these things, you're going to set that up on your own board. And your own board has like all these little tents that like you have on there, and then there's like a little backpack where you're going to put all the things you're acquiring and buying and like the food or the gems and that sort of stuff. And you also keep track of your health on that, and your health is going to be a combination of how many hearts everybody in your party contributes and anything that you kind of collect. Sometimes you'll have like items that kind of bump that up. Then once you've built yourself up and you're like, okay, we're ready, we're going on an adventure, then you're going to go to the middle part of the board here. And this is a book. It's like a coil bound book, and you can flip and change the map that you're going to be visiting each time. So there's a ton of replayability with this because you could just be like, oh, let's go and visit this map. Now, as you're going to go, and then there's a place where you kind of end up, and then you can travel from there. Now, depending on how far you go and how much you do is going to be really dependent on how much movements you have, how much health you have, because you've prepared yourself for this, right? So it's going to, have you got like you're going to be using it up as you're out there. But be like, okay, let's go visit this. And then it's like, okay, I'm at location C. So then be like, on this map. So then you're going to take the adventure book, or somebody else is going to. They're going to go to that place. Okay, you're visiting this place, right? Well, you come across this rock person who's crying by the lake. Do you? And she's like, she lost her son. Oh, no, I lost my son. Do you pickpocket what she has next to her? Or do you tell her where to go and get this, like, to the nearest village to have them help find her son? Or do you go looking for her son? Like, and depending on what you decide to do, then you're going to roll the dice. I think there's dice. There's something that you roll. I'm pretty sure there's dice. But, like, you verify whether you're going to be successful at completing what you're deciding or not. And it tells you what you need. You're going to need to have this. And you can look, it's like, well, I have 3 already, because you have like your party has different icons. So it's like, well, I have 3 of those icons, but I need 7. I would need to get 4. Is that even likely? Maybe I should do, instead of go looking for this, maybe I should send her to the village because that requires less. Or maybe it's like, no, I'm going all in. We're trying it, And then it's like, it is really neat. That's definitely, as you're playing, story evolves. It's very exciting that way. Now, you could, if you wanted to just play easier, faster, instead of playing with the adventure book, you could just have like a set of cards that's just like one-offs, and you could play it that way as well. I personally never played that way because I want to know what's in the adventure book. But great game. Tons of fun. And this is Near and Far, which I believe is the second one in the installment because they had Above and Below. Mm-hmm. And now they also have, and I forget what the newest one was called.
Oh,
it's a red box.
I can see the cover too.
Right? So there's more.
Here and there or something like that. Here and there, maybe. I don't know. Something.
I think so. Here and Now, maybe? I don't know. Something
Here and
like
now,
that.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then it just kind of has more adventures. I've never played. This is the only one I've played in this trilogy. And it was really, really good. But that is my number 9.
Nice.
Oh, no, my number 8.
Yeah.
Right.
That was your...
My
That
number
was
8.
your 8. Okay.
All right. So we're on to number 7. We're back to you, Carla.
All right, my number 7 is Nusfjord. Now, this one is a fishing game. You are trying to build up your fleet of ships so that you can fish more. On your player boards, you can see at the bottom, you start with this little tiny boat, like a rowboat, and you'll only be able to collect, I think it's 3 fish at the beginning. And then as you build up your boats, they'll go beside that boat. And then the number to the right is how much fish you're going to collect at the end of the round, or at the
Nice.
beginning of the round, actually. And this is a worker placement game. So you have, is it 3 discs, I believe, and you'll go to different spots and either, build a boat. You might go and cut down your forest, collect wood. You might go and buy a building, and that's all those cards on the top right there if you're watching on YouTube. That will give you different points either throughout the game or a cheaper way of doing things or some big end game points. There's 3 levels of buildings. There's A, B, C, and the C's will come out later on in the game. So you'll just see the A's and B's so far.
This is a Uwe Rosenberg, isn't it?
Yep.
It definitely has his touch to it. That's
yeah.
nice.
It's one of his shorter games. Like it's a very short game. Yeah. Especially solo. You can play this solo in less than 20 minutes, but even a 2-player game under an hour for sure. Because you only have so many rounds. I think it's 8 rounds. And like you have 3 workers, so once you've placed them each, you take your stuff back or your workers back, you fish, and then you have to feed your elders if you've acquired any elders. This also has shares in the game. So you start with 3 shares face up and 2 face up and 3 face down. So the face up ones are positive, so you're not going to lose any points. The other 3 are face down, and you're going to lose points if you don't flip those. Now you have to go to a worker placement spot to issue them, and then on another turn go back and buy them back. So now other players can buy your shares because when they go to that spot, they buy all the shares that are there. Oh. They will take them. There'll be positive points for them. And every time you fish, you're going to have to put one on your share, whether it's that you own it or they own it. So it's interesting that way, as you can start to take other people's shares if you want. And that's another way for them to collect more fish or to build up the boats. And just all the buildings are so neat because you can kind of do all these different things. You have the elders that you can acquire, and then you have to feed those elders. That's part of feeding your worker kind of thing, like an Uwe typical mechanic. Mm-hmm. But you're also going to try to fill these plates with fish. So you can see in the middle, there's these plates, they get bigger and bigger. They start small with 1 fish on it. And that's an action 2 you go to where you can start to fill up these plates. And so the first plate might need 1, the second 2 plates, you need 2 fish, and then the third 3, and so on. And then when you take an elder, you have to take a fish off there and place it on them. And then once the elders have enough fish, you get to take 2 of them and place 1 back in the supply, or opposite. Maybe it's the opposite. But it's a really neat little engine building game that plays super quick and quite different from most of his, traditionally farming games, things like that. But really, really neat. And this big box has several different decks of the building, so it really mixes up the game every time you play. If you play with a different, the decks are different types of fish, then you will completely change up your game. But really cool little engine builder, and that's Nusfjord, my number 7.
Cool. Yeah, that's a cool looking game for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, my number 7, I would say, is another area control-ish game, definitely, but it has a lot of drafting element to it, and that is Bunny Kingdom. So in Bunny Kingdom, you're going to get cards, and it's one of those where you have cards. The cards has a combination of somewhere of the grid. Maybe it's C3, and then you get to kind of claim that location. Or maybe it allows you to place a building, or maybe it allows you to cultivate new vegetables. And this is where I messed up the first time I played this game, because the basis what you're wanting to do is you're trying to get the most bunnies in a cluster, and then like have building, like you're gonna count all like the building towers that they have, and then you're good, like I think it's that times the amount of different fruit that are vegetables that you can collect from that area. And there's like carrots all over the place, there's wood, there's different things that you can collect. And I thought it was, oh well geez, I'm doing so good, look, I have 6 carrots here. No, that's one. Every type, not every time they show up. And so I was like, so I'm passing up on all these extra things that you can collect, because like, look, I've got so many, I'm doing amazing. I was not doing amazing. I got lapped in my score. I was like, oh. It's like, because everything that you like, you look at all the cards, you keep 2, you pass the other ones to the next player. So the guy next to me is like, wow, she's giving me all of these amazing cards that I'm not collecting. But it's just really neat to play. It's simple once you know all the rules. It's not like, it's one of those, like, it's simple to play, but doesn't mean you're going to win, right? Like, and then there's kind of like, okay, which one's, oh, if I keep this one, maybe I'm going to get one that's going to make this thing kind of connect these two. Then I would have this really big area. That'd be great. But I'd be passing these on. Maybe I should keep this one. Like, so there's definitely interesting decisions in what you want to do. Plus, the components are adorable. You have these little bunnies with the 2 ears. You have these little 3D buildings you're putting up that has like an upside down carrot at the top of each of the towers. Like, this is a great looking game. And it's a really, really fun game to play. And that is my number, I don't even know where we're on, number 7, Bunny Kingdom.
Nice. All right, my number 6 is an evergreen game, I would say, that has been loved for a long time, and I think it always will. This is Sagrada. So this is a dice drafting, dice placement game, and it's just beautiful. This is a new version of it. I don't have the new version, but I love this cover. The first cover is beautiful as well, but just all the colors and the what do they call those, glass?
Stained glass.
Stained glass, yeah. So what you're doing is you are drafting dice from a pool, and you have to draft 2, but typically it's a snake draft. And what a snake draft is there's 3 players. The first player will take one, the second player will take one, the third, and then the third gets to take again, and it goes back second and first. So you'll take one and you'll place it in your little stained glass window there. Now, there's certain basic rules. The basic rules are you can't have the same color or number adjacently beside this, like each other. So, and what I mean by adjacent is like to the left, the right, the bottom or top of that dice cannot be the same color or number. Now, there will also be other goals in the game that you're trying to accomplish, where it might say like each column has to be a different color, or each column has to be a different number. One might say like you want to have pairs all over the place, kind of thing, and just different things. So it'll change up every game. But you also have these little glass discs, tiles. What are they called? Not tiles.
I don't know. Glass stones, I guess. Sure.
Glass stones, yeah. That depending on, because you'll slide the bottom part of your glass window in every game, you'll have an option of playing, I think you get 2 or 3 and you choose one. And some are more difficult than the others, but if you take a difficult one, you're going to get more of these glass stones. Yes. And those can be used to use the tools at the top there. And what they do is they will adjust the rules, because sometimes you've messed up and now I can't place anything beside this because of what I did here. So you can go to use one of those tools and you'll play a glass stone if you're the first one there. If you're the second, you'll place 2 and so on. But it's nice because then if you've messed up, you can adjust and you can possibly even move a die that you have already placed, depending on the rules. And so you're just going to go and keep doing that until you have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 turns Yeah, there's 10 turns
There's
in
a
the
place
game.
in two, yeah.
Yeah. And then you're going to count up your points from the goals. You'll have a little private goal yourself and, the basic rules of everything, and then see who the winner is. Now, this game has, I think, 5 or 6 different expansions, and they're all really good. It's not necessary at all, but they are quite neat and you can mix and match them. I don't think you can ever play with all of them, but just the base game alone is just lovely and it's just beautiful to play because you have all these different colored dice. Your stained glass window is beautiful and just placing them feeling the glass stones and everything. It's just one of those really pretty games that is very satisfying to play. It can get frustrating because you
Because you
can
block
get
yourself
yourself
out.
into a
Yeah.
corner. Yeah. But that's part of playing games, but such a lovely game and I'll always have this one in my collection, and that's my number 6, Sagrada.
Yeah, great game for sure. I do like the new look of the game because that
Yeah,
one was
it is
just
pretty.
recently published. It's the
Yeah.
exact same game, just republished.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
some of the expansions are a bit different or something, or they
Oh,
have a new one or something like that, but other than that, yeah, it's the same game.
very cool. All righty. My next game was so badly explained to me. And not that it was badly explained to me, but when it was explained to me, I was like, there is no way I want to own this game. And here I am owning this game. But the game is called Magic Maze. And me and my sister had stopped in a board game store, and the guy had come up and was like, well, we're wanting to get a new game, so I'm just trying to decide. He's like, oh, let me recommend this one. And he says, in this game, you don't talk. And both me and my sister are like, nope, we're out. We talk. He's like, no. It's actually really good. You don't talk. He's like, no, we talk. But so it's yes, there's definitely a portion where you don't talk, but that's not what the game is about. And what it is you start with one tile. There are 4 characters on this tile. These are 4 adventurers that just had their butt ended to them in a dungeon crawl thing, and now we are in a mall. We need to replenish our weapons so we can go back to the dungeon. But we got beat so bad, we have no money, we have nothing left. So we need to get these 4 characters to discover this mall, to find the store that sells their weapons, each go in, steal the weapon, and then make it out before security happens. Basically, that's the story. Now, the tricky part is I don't control one character. You don't control another character. I control a movement. You control the other movement. So we need to move all 4 characters together. I go north. You go west. Somebody goes south. Somebody else goes east, depending on the number of players. Only one person can go up and down escalators. Only one person can use portals and certain things like that. This is where it gets tricky. We cannot communicate. So what we can do is we have this little obnoxious red thing that we can place in front of another player. Says, I really need you to activate your movement right now without saying this. And then they're going to look at the board like, I have no idea what you want me to do.
You take the thing like this, right? You're like, you, do something.
I really need you to do something right now.
And sometimes you can't figure it out. You're like, what? You can't see it. You're like, what do they want me to do?
And what's interesting is it starts fairly easy. We have all the movements. You have the thing. You go out, you get in. But as you successfully complete these missions, extra things get added. Extra tiles get added. Now it's like we can't all share the same exit. We need to get all out of our own exit. Some doors only fit certain characters and not all the other characters. And did I mention there's a timer? And if the timer gets low, you need to go onto a timer location to flip that timer so you get more time. And guaranteed somebody is not looking at that timer. Guaranteed. So, and it's one of those games where you're playing and you're trying to see how far you can make it. And it is chaotic fun, but it is so fun. And yeah, sure, you can't talk while you play, but it's so interesting. And personally, I find the worse that this game is going, the worse you're doing, the more I laugh and the more fun I'm having.
Yeah.
But it is so satisfying. Absolutely love this game. And this is Magic Maze.
Nice. We have to play this soon. You should bring it to FalCon. This would be a
Yeah.
good wake up game, like when we're like feeling sleepy and we need to wake up.
Hey, Carla wakes up. It's like she's the only one who enjoys it. People will be like, okay, fine, I'll go start it. What are you guys playing? And she's like, let's play this. And it's like, nope. Walk away.
It's
yes,
that I usually, or Piles is another wake up game that I'll
oh, and you would
throw
do
on the
like Color
table.
Addict,
Or Color Addict, yes, that's right.
which recently I found at
Oh,
Dollarama.
yes, I haven't seen it yet. At which one
Yeah.
was it? Dollarama or Dollar Tree?
Dollarama in
Dollarama?
Airdrie is the one I
Okay.
I found it at, but
Nice.
I haven't
Nice.
come across it again. But
Did you buy a bunch of copies?
I bought, maybe somebody's gonna get some for a Christmas gift. We'll see.
I already have it. So just so you know,
So not for you.
not for me.
Sounds good. All righty, back to on our list here. We're at number 5, and we're back with you, Carla.
Okay. So my number 5 is a tile laying game, and this is one of my favorite tile laying games. It's called Barenpark. This one is such a neat tile laying game. It looks very basic when you see it on the table. You have all different types of polyomino tiles, and you have a square grid that you're basically trying to put them in. But it's neat because they all are different enclosures, and that's like because you're building a bear park, and depending on the goals you're trying to accomplish, you might need to place them in different patterns, but you do want to cover each of your little boards and everything on it except for the little was it just like
Statues?
the dirt hole, because that's where you're going to place a statue. And if you're the first one to complete one of your boards, you get the highest statue, which is the biggest point. I think it's 20, and you get to place it. And then depending how you place your tiles, whatever you place them over, that's the next tiles you're going to get to choose from. So if you place them over a green wheelbarrow, I think it is, you'll get to choose from the green tiles. If you place it over a white, I don't know if it's a dump truck, you'll get to place either from the white stack or the green. And then if you place an orange construction truck, you can place any tile. You can grab anything from the middle. Typically, you'll want the orange ones because they're bigger and worth more points. And you're just gonna like Tetris them into your board, but it's gonna all be very strategic because you need to try to cover everything. You need to be getting more tiles every turn. That happens sometimes where you're like, oh, this fits perfect, and you place it and you're like, oh, that didn't cover anything. I now have no tiles. So my next turn, I get to take one little tile, and that's my whole turn. So you gotta try to make that not happen, but it does happen. And then you just, at the end, I think you've completed 4 boards. As soon as somebody's completely completed that, that triggers the end. And then you just count up your points, and your points are on the tiles and on your statues. And then also on the little goals that you've accomplished. Because if you accomplish one first, you get a higher point one, and then they kind of go down in points. And that's it. It's very basic, but it's very satisfying game, and one of the best tile laying games, I think. And that's my number 5, Barenpark.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great one. All right, my number 5. Okay, my number 5 was on my shelf of shame for a ridiculous long time, especially for the price that I've paid for this game. And this is one of those bigger games, and I opened it and I saw all the components, and I'm like, I must have this, and then moved to Acme and then didn't play it for a really long time. And we finally played it in Invermere when we went there for Ashley's birthday. And that is Too Many Bones. So this is a big box game, but it is so cool. First of all, the neoprene mats, every player gets their own neoprene mat for the character they're playing as, and it has cut out where you're going to place the dice that you have. And you all have as well, like these poker chips that is going to go under your character, that's going to go on the main board, and that is your character and their health. As you take damage, you lose the poker chips underneath of you, and it's so visually satisfying to see. I was like, oh my god, my stack is so little, because you're like declining, and then bad guys come in and they have their own poker chips revealing what their health is. So you have that's going to be on the battle map, plus there's a cutout on the side of that to show initiative, like the battle order of what it's going to go. And then you have like this little corner there where you're going to keep track of how your character is going, because you can upgrade as you play. Be like, well, I'm going to upgrade this so I can roll more dice at once, or I'm going to upgrade this so I can upgrade my dice I do have to roll, or I'm going to increase my health, or I'm going to whatever it is that you're upgrading. And each character plays a little bit differently. And then you have these dice, and then so it's really interesting because it plays two-part. You have the adventure part. This is of another very story-driven game where it's like, okay, we're going on this mission, we're like the party's getting together, we're going on an adventure, and you're too hyped up to sleep. Do you go and acquire new items where you can maybe get some of the specialty dice that you would have access to? Or do you want to get some extra training, trying to increase and upgrade yourself by doing extra training before we leave? And depending on what you decide. And then there'll be different things that'll happen. Is like, okay, and you come across it. Do we try to sneak by and run away? Or are we going to battle these guys? Right? So it's like, let's battle them. And it's like, okay, then you go into the second part. And then it's like when you have encounters and you're going to have these battles. And that's what's going to happen on that main battle board. And then it also has the melee, or if it's melee is hand to hand, or if you have longer range. Right. And then depending on what you can attack on the board. And there's only so much room in the battle area. And then it was like, okay, we've defeated this guy, but there was 3 bad guys. So then another one pops in because he could pop in before there was no room. And now he's there. Now you got to keep going. And then it's like, oh no, one of us is down. Now we're down to 2 battling these guys or whatever. So it is neat and satisfying if you enjoy that style of game, which apparently I really do. And there's so much dice rolling and so much your character evolves as you play. And my favorite part is this is campaign based. It's not, or scenario based. It's not campaign based. So you can just play a scenario and then it kind of, you reset and then kind of play again. I don't know if you could play this campaign as well. Maybe it does, but I have commitment issues when it comes to campaign-based games. So really, really like this one. We played it in Vermeer. I came home. I played it again with Lee, which is the picture here. Such a neat game. As I mentioned, each player plays a little bit different, so you would kind of change your strategy as you play. But the Vermeer game, we called it a win, but maybe it wasn't really a win. But the game I played with Lee was definitely a win. And that was just great. And that is my number, whatever we're on. But that's Too Many Bones, number 5.
Yeah, I haven't played this one yet. So I'll have to try this with you for sure.
It's in the family.
Yes. My number 4 is probably my favorite Matt Wallace game.
Oh.
Is it Matt Wallace? Why does that sound weird now?
Martin Wallace?
Martin Wallace, that's right.
You're close.
Matt's not right. Yeah. Martin Wallace game, and this is London 2nd edition. I love this game. This is very simple looking game. The reason I'm choosing the 2nd edition, we kind of said we'd always take the first one, but this is a completely different game than the first. So that was allowed. So how it's different is there's no real map in this one.
Oh,
You are
right.
basically just playing off your city and drafting cards from the main board, and then you can take those. I'm forgetting what they're calling those big cards, just location cards, I think you can purchase. But how you're doing this is you're going to draft cards from the main board there, and anytime you take a card, you got to place one back.
Okay.
So if anything I take, I place one, and then I have the option to play them in my city. And your city is just stacks of cards. So if you've already had 4 cards and then you've ran your city, meaning you've activated every card and you've flipped whatever had to be flipped, those piles will remain, and then you will play more on top of those face down ones, and then maybe extend your city again. Now, what you're trying to do is gain money as you can and to have the most minimal poverty in your city. And how you do that is if you have flipped cards for each one of those piles, you're going to get a poverty. And there's ways to reduce poverty after time. Some cards will reduce, and so you get to pay it back, kind of thing, or lose it. But typically, you want to keep your city quite small and maybe run it several times as opposed to a big giant city and running only a few times, because then you're going to gain a lot of poverty. The locations are nice because those are ways to get rid of poverty as well. You're going to play until there's a stack of A cards, B cards, and C cards. You're going to play until I believe the last card is drawn. That might not be the trigger, but something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to add up how much total poverty you have. And if you have the lowest, you get to remove what you have between yours and someone else. So say Mel had 10 and I had 5, I would get to get rid of my 5. And then there's a little chart of how much you've ended up with, and then that'll be of a loss of points because you will have gathered points throughout the game. And then money, I believe, is points as well. It might be like a 2-to-1 thing or a 3-to-1 thing, but and then just gonna, the winner, one with the most points is the winner. The card art is quite like an old Victorian art, but with like a twist of, I don't know, it's like a rusticness to it that I love. I love the colors, the art about it, and just how simple the gameplay is, but it's still very strategic because you got to figure out how big of a city you should have, how often you should run it, what color of cards you have, because when you play a card in your city, you have to place a card of that color back onto the board as well. So some turns you might just collect a bunch of cards and not play anything, and then have enough to be able to play when you're playing your cards. Another thing, when you run your city, however many cards you have left in your hand, that adds to your poverty. So you want to try to time it that you've gotten rid of most of the cards in your hands when you run your city. And it's just a clever, clever game with like really unique mechanics that I can't really compare this to any other game I've played because it plays so differently. But it's
Mm.
just one of those elegant games that just flow so nice, and not a super long game. I'm sure an hour, hour and a half, maybe if you had a higher player count, but just a beautiful game. And that's my number 4, London, the second edition.
We need to play this one. I love Martin Wallace
Yeah.
games.
You haven't played
I
this?
have not played
Oh my
this.
gosh, I'm bringing that next time for
Right?
sure. Yeah, you'll love
Yes.
it. Yeah.
I probably will.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. My number 4, hold on, let me get back to my list here. Okay, my number 4 is my favorite word game of all time. It is so good, and that is Wordsy. Now, my copy does not look like this. I believe it's All Play that just
Yep.
recently republished it. So it's,
And
and
there's
I was
square
like,
box.
oh, I was like, no, I don't need a second version of the same game
Yeah.
I already own. And I don't think that there's really any changes to the game per se, except it's like in an all play square size box and it looks absolutely beautiful. But this is the version that I have. What's great about this game? One of the most frustrating thing in word game, it's like, well, I have crappy letters and I can't spell anything. This one, it doesn't matter. Like you have like, okay, whatever you can spell, you go ahead And you could use whatever words you want. You can use a combination of whatever you want. And it's not necessarily the bigger the word's going to score you the most. It's certain letters are going to score better than others. So if my word was rat, R-A-T, that would give me 10 points because R and T this round are worth 5 points each. Now you'll notice like P is on there twice and B is on there twice. So if the letter is used multiple times, you only score the one unless it shows again, then you score it at the lower price, the lower point. So it doesn't make tons of sense trying to like spend a lot of time to be like coming up with a higher word or the big fancy word, because you might not score that much more. So where coming up with a word, even though it's a simple word, might score more than whatever big word you could come up with. I don't know. Umbrella in this case, like would score almost the same thing, right? Even though you have a lot more letters. So how big or fancy your word is doesn't necessarily give you an advantage. English is a second language for me. And depending on who we play with, like having like somebody that's very vocabulary rich, like just crushes everybody every time. And honestly, they might, but it doesn't necessarily give them a big advantage as other word game normally does. Then once you have come up, like you can also like the one who's fastest to answer would get bonus if they have the fastest word and they have a higher score. So you're trying to be like, okay, what can I come up with? But you're trying to be quick about it as well, if you can, for some bonus. And then if whoever has the fastest, you end up having a higher scoring word than the fastest player, then you get bonus for beating them. So there's different things in there that kind of can give you different bonus. Then the round is over. 2 of these letters go away. The rest shift. New letters come out. Then you kind of play the next round. And you can't use words that had been previously used. So I absolutely love this word game. It is so cool. And that is Wordsy, my number 4.
I came up with a 27-point word. It was temperature.
What's your word? Let's go back.
Temperature.
Temperature.
Yeah.
Very nice. You don't even, oh, yes, you are using the R as well. Look at you go.
Yeah. I had some time, so. I'm playing games while we're recording.
By yourself. We're playing solo again. Very cool. But yeah, it's such a neat game.
Yeah, it is. I know I'm tempted to get that just to like fit in my all play, but it's ridiculous to have that.
Because there's money that they've done as well. It's like, well, I have an old version of money. That would look a lot nicer on the shelf. And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm not replacing all my games with newer version of the same game. So
yeah. All right. My number 3 is called Unfair. Now this is, you are building a theme park. It's a card tableau builder. And you're drafting cards from a central board. And there's different ways you can draft or different things you can draft. And they can go into your hand. And then on another turn, you can play them. So you're building up rides and, what's the other term? Not like different food places and all kinds of things you're building up. But each of them can have upgrades to them. And that's the key part of the game, is you want to put a whole bunch of different upgrades of these rides. And now before you start the game, you're going to each choose a deck, and they all have different themes. There's like gangsters, there's dinosaurs, there's pirates, and all kinds of things. And if you have expansions, then you have multiple themes, but you're all going to choose a deck, and then you're going to shuffle it all together, and then that'll kind of go out in the big deck. And you can choose different themes in your park. You don't have to stick with one theme, but you're going to draw some blueprints at the beginning of the game, and that's going to be like a goal card, and it's kind of going to direct what you're going to choose for in your park. If you want to accomplish that one, that will be worth big points. And if you do not accomplish it, they'll be worth negative points. There are some ways to get rid of those cards if you had a bunch of blueprints and there was no way you were completing them. But Other than that, you're trying to fulfill those. So you're building up different rides, and each column is one ride or attraction. That's the other word I was looking for. And with these different upgrades, so you might have different themes as upgrades. You might have different, like an air conditioning or bathrooms or just different things that you would upgrade an attraction with. Now, it's called unfair. So what that means is there are some bad cards because there's an event deck that one is turned every round. Now, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It might make you close one of your rides this round, and closing that ride can be drastic because at the end of the round you're going to collect money, which like tickets, which is basically points for each customer that has ridden your ride, and those are on each of the cards, and you have a limit to how many you can have, and then there's some that can open up more spots and things like that. But if you've closed a ride, that can be, you can lose 5 to 10, who knows, per round. So some of the bad things are quite drastic, but you can play this game without the bad cards. So you can play it as a fun, fair game. Now, they did remake this into just fun, fair. So it's no bad stuff, no mean stuff. But I like the option of having both. So,
you would.
And when I played it, I didn't like any meanness in games, so I never played with it. But now I like to throw it in there because you can close other people's rides, or you can like steal one of their upgrades and stuff like that. And I played it a few times with this couple, and they just went at each other and just left me alone, and I just built this wonderful like giant theme park while they were taking each other out. It's quite fun. But
Nice.
that's not typically how it would go, but it's just a really neat tableau builder. And each theme changes things. You can hire different workers that will kind of give you some in-game or on-game like powers and things like that. And there's just all different things that can happen, and no game is the same as the one before because you're always playing with different decks and mixing up different things. It's just a neat game, and I really like this one. This is one of my favorite games. This is my number 3, Unfair.
Yeah, that's a cool one. Well, I'm sure. No, it looks cool. I've never played it.
What? Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I know. You think we play with each other once in a while.
I know.
We play each other's favorite games, and we do. Like, honestly,
Yeah, we
play together a lot.
We just have a lot of favorites.
We just have a lot of favorites. All right. My number 3 is an amazing game, hence why it's in number 3 position, and that is Downforce. And Downforce is such a satisfying racing game. Now, personally, I have little boys. Well, I had little boys. They're not little anymore. Like, I think my one is 6'5". But I had boys growing up that would always be down for playing race games. Like, the theme appealed, and it was like, oh, okay, race game. Yeah, let's play. And this game is great. So you have these little cars, and you're going to start. You have your hand of cards, and you're going to bid on the cards you want to acquire for the race, because we're going to be like race car owners. So be like, and then the way that you bid is you look at the cards and you're going to pick a hand and be like, okay, well, I'm going to put this one, and be like, okay, we're bidding on the black car. Who wants to purchase the black card? You put a hand down, and that's going to show a card that you have. It's going to have a value next to the black card. Whoever has the highest value gets that card. But that's how many million, I don't remember how much, like if it's thousands or millions or whatever, but that's how much you're paying for that car. So you got to mark that on your page, and then you go and get the next card, and you go until everybody has at least one card. You can purchase multiple cars if you're playing with less players, but then you're paying more, but then you're having higher chance of getting better. Now, if you end up with a card that does not win, it doesn't really matter, because every time we pass one of those yellow lines, we're also going to bid on who we think the winner is going to be. And maybe I'm not bidding on my car at all. It's like, well, I'm so far behind. I really think the yellow car is going to win. So I'm bidding on yellow car. It does. I don't have to be the owner of the yellow car. But the way that these vehicles move is you're playing these cards that you use for bidding at the beginning. They'd be like, okay, so this one, you go in order. Well, black move by this much, then orange moves by this much, and yellow will move by this much, and so on, until you block each other. Right? So maybe I have a car that moves blue by a lot, and I don't own the blue car, and I haven't bid on the blue car, but the blue car is stuck behind the red and the yellow car. So I'm like, I'm going to play this one. Oh, blue car, you don't move at all. That's too bad. Oh, but then my car gets to move by 4 or something like that. And it's just so satisfying to do that. It's not as satisfying to have that done to you, though. But so, and then at the end, once you have like all the cars that have made it past the finish line and you have the finish, then you get so much points for owning the car that has that finish. Then you get, well, it's money, prize money, right? Then you get so much money for having bid on the winning car, depending on when you bid for them. If you bid them at the very beginning of the race, you get more money. If you bid on them at the end of the race, you get a little bit less money, right? So maybe you're like, oh, I'm going to win. And there's like, I'm really not winning. And you change your bid around, like that can happen. But you get money depending on their position. As long as they're in the top 3, then you get a different value of money. And then at the end, it's whoever has the most money is the winner. It's so fun. It is so cool. This game at one point was at Dollarama for $5. I paid for my copy like over $30 secondhand, and it was a deal, right? So the fact that it had made this game so readily available, I absolutely love. I bought a bunch of copies and gifted it to a bunch of people, but I think that's just so cool that they're making these really exciting games like readily available for anybody. So if you get the chance and you haven't played Downforce, you really should. It's such a neat game. And that is my number 3.
Yeah, this is a cool game. The copies that were at the Looney store are a little bit different, but they're not like they don't take anything out of it. It's just
no at all.
Just slightly different than they're smaller, like a smaller
like
box.
The cards are slightly different shape, but not like, oh, they're like tiny cards in comparison. There's like a couple millimeters different. Like there's like you wouldn't be able to mix them together. You would be able to tell that they're not the same. Otherwise, it's the same game.
Yeah. No, it's totally great deal.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's your number 3.
That was my number 3.
My number 2 is we're going back to an abstract strategy. This is probably my favorite abstract strategy, and that is Azul. And this is base Azul. I have all the Azuls. I love all the Azuls, but I always go back to the base. I usually have a game of this running on BGA. I play this at home. I use the solo mode. I play with family, friends. I'll play this anytime anyone asks. I love the art in this game. I have a 2-player runner of this, which is like a 2-player map, but it's like it's almost the size of the width of a table. And I used to just have it on my table as a decoration. And just because the colors went with how I had designed my kitchen, but it works. I love it. I love the play of it. It's very, very simple rules. You can play this with anyone, but again, the heavier or more strategic people you play with, the harder it's going to be. You are just drafting these glass tiles. Well, they're not glass. They're called tapestry. I think you're building a tapestry and you're
mosaic.
Mosaic, but I think it's a wall. Anything. Yeah. Anyway,
well, tapestry is fabric.
But I think they say that in there. Anyway.
Is it still a tapestry?
I don't know. That's just rings a bell from the rules. But anyway, so you're drafting from these factories, and these are those little circles in the middle of the table. And you're going to choose all of one color from a factory. The rest of them are going to be thrown into the middle. And then you're going to take those tiles and place them on one of your lines on your board on the left side. And if you've completed that line at the end of the round, you're going to get to move one of those over into the color pattern that you have there. Now, if you've only, put 2 out of 4, the next time you might draft the same color and then you can plot them in there. If you happen to have extra for what you need in one line, it has to go to the bottom. They break, they say, and then you'll have to put one at the bottom, which will be negative points at the end of the round. You can also draft from the middle, but if you're the first one to do that, you're going to take the first player token, and that will also go at the bottom. So you get to be first next round, but you're going to have a negative point if you choose that. But sometimes there can be, big groupings in the middle, so it can be worth it because you might be able to pick up 5 of one color and place them on the bottom there right away. So like I said, at the end of the round, you're going to go down from top to bottom. And if you've completed your rows, you're going to get to slide one over and the rest will go back in the bag. Now, if you haven't completed those rows, like on the left, you will leave them there and next round, hopefully complete them and slide them over. At the end of the game, and what is triggered by that is when somebody has completed a row, that will be the final round. And you're going to add up however many rows you have, columns, and if you've had 5 of each color on your, I want to say tapestry, but it's not, on your board, then you'll get big points for that. Now, there's also like a little joker tile that you can get. I haven't got my hands on one yet, but it's a clear tile, and that would be really valuable because there's sometimes, when you're trying to get a tile and somebody's hate drafting and taking it away from you and leaves you with a pile of something you don't need. And then you're stuck placing it all on the bottom with broken tiles and a bunch of negative points. You can play this friendly. You can play this, meanly, but both ways are fun. It's a very quick game. I would say that games maybe last a half an hour, if that. But just lovely to look at, lovely to play, and another evergreen that I don't think I will ever get rid of this game. But yeah, that's my number 2, Azul.
Nice. Great pick. All right, my number 2 is our first crossover.
Oh.
And it's also Azul.
Oh, I was going to guess something else. Wow.
Azul is okay, this is just one where I think should be in everybody's collection. That is just such a straightforward, satisfying, like perfectly crafted game. Like it's just purely put together in such a great way. And yeah, everything you said, it's so satisfying to kind of like, and they're trying to like, okay, I think he's going to go for it. Well, I'm going to take this. So put a bunch of yellows in the middle. So, and that's going to be the only yellow left. And now they'd have to take more yellow than they want. And then maybe like, well, I'm not going for yellow now. It's like, it has such interesting decisions. I tend to just play where I'm so caught up on my own board that I don't even look at what anybody else needs. And then it's like, please don't take the blue. Please don't take the blue. It's like, oh, why did you take the blue? It's like, okay, what else do I want to do? But it's so neat. And the way that it scores and comes together. I think the scoring is the hardest part of this game because you score up and down in a combination.
Well, no, you score adjacent. So if the tile you placed, whatever it's adjacent to, you score that whole row.
But you score whatever's in that row or column, depending on the cluster that you've created. Yeah. So I think when I teach this game, that's the trickiest part to teach. It's not that it's complicated, but once you know how to score, then it's great. I don't know if I've ever tried to learn how to score from like the rule book on my own. I think I had somebody show me. I don't know how easy or how well it's explained in there just because it's such a clunky little bit. That's the clunkiest part about this game. But amazing game. Everything Carla said, she was right. Great pick. Azul number 2.
All right. My number 1 is also one of my most favorite games, and this is Clans of Caledonia. I can't believe this was 2017 because just last year the expansion came out. So almost 10 years later, which is usually they come out a year or two later. But people had asked for an expansion, and he did it, and it is fantastic. There's a lot. It's a modular expansion, so there's different things you can add. But this game is, I would compare it to like a Terra Mystica with a market. Yeah. So, and the reason I'm comparing that is the map. You are placing things on the map from your player board, And when you do that, you'll kind of sometimes open up like a bonus or whatnot. But you're trying to create different settlements, but you want several settlements. So you don't want to connect everything completely. You want to connect it with shipping lines, or like a, not a shipping line, but with space that is, it can be shipped to get, like, it's, no, how am I explaining this wrong? It's that part is very hard to teach, because it's something where you want to connect them, but they're still separate settlements, but they're within shipping range. That's what it is.
Right.
So you start with not only being able to build right next to you, and then if you upgrade your shipping, you can build like with a little lake in between you, and then as you go up higher, you can have 2 or 3 spots of a lake in between you, and then once you've got to the end, you can pretty much connect everything if you've played strategically. That's just part of the game. The other part of the game is you are trying to place different things on the board, different factories that will give you, like, you'll place like a cow farm or a sheep farm, which will produce sheep and milk. You can turn the milk into cheese. You're going to plant some wheat fields and then hopefully turn those into like a whiskey factory or a bread factory. You're going to put workers on the board. So you're going to either put foresters or mountaineers on the board, depending what area they're on. You're going to upgrade their kind of tools to make them more valuable, that you'll get paid every round. Mm-hmm. You're going to complete contracts. That's a big part of this game. The contracts are, you need resources to fulfill them, and then they'll give you bonuses. And the person who completes the most contracts is also going to get some big points at the end of the game. You're trying to buy and sell resources. You're going to try and buy some stuff really low and then sell high, or sometimes you're just going to buy something really high because you just really need it for a contract, and then fulfill that and then maybe get some money out of it, or just some free upgrades or something. But it's just a really neat game. I love the market in this, because as you sell something, then the demand goes, I always forget how it goes. The demand goes up, but when you buy, the demand goes down. Am I saying that wrong? It's one or the other. It's whatever makes sense, but my brain can't. Every time I teach it, I have to look at the rule and go, oh yeah, it's this way. But when you're playing it, it would all make sense. But then, so you might see somebody's got a whole bunch of wool and they want to sell it. They're going to sell it. So you might go and sell some so that it makes it cheaper. Yes, that's what it is. When you sell, it goes cheaper. So then Mel's like, I was just going to sell that all for $5 each, and now it's $3.
Every time.
I may have done that. I don't know, but but it's just a really neat, like, flowing game. Like, it has the farming feel, but the market feel as well. So it's economic. A little bit of not really area control, because you can block out some people, but there is a nice part in it too, where when somebody puts a factory next to yours, they can get a buying bonus, where they can, like, if they put it next to your cheese factory, they can buy cheese quite cheap, and it's like $2 or $3 less than the market, but they have to do it right then. If they have no money, too bad. And that's where I don't usually time that very well. I'll go and I'll just worry about, where I'm building, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have bought whiskey for like $10 instead of 13 or whatever, but I only have 9. So there's things like that where you need to really plan, but it's just an awesome game. It was in my top 10, and I feel like it still would be in my top 10. We haven't done that since 50 episodes ago, but right. 50 episodes from now, we'll be doing it again. So look forward to that. But I would say right at this point, I'm pretty sure it would still be in my top 10. And that's my number 1, Clans of Caledonia.
Yeah, that's a great game. Because we went to the Rocky Mountain Retreat, and I got to play it for the first time there with you. The one thing I thought we struggled with the most is keeping track of the turn order, because depending on when we like, okay, that's all, then it's on the board. There's no reason for us to be so confused about, but boy, we were. But
anytime it's not clockwise or counter, we seem to mess that up. Yeah. I think we're just so used to, you're after me and then they're after you, that it's tricky for us to manage
Yeah,
that.
and I was like, oh wait, let me undo my turn. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was your turn. You go ahead. Okay,
Yeah.
now let me do it again. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So, but I mean, pay attention if you.
Mhm.
It's not the end of the. But yeah, boy, we struggle with that. All righty. My number one is another game that we ended up playing together on that weekend, I do believe, and that is Heaven and Ale.
Oh yeah.
And this game is just so cool. I played this for the first time at FallCon. I had gone to FallCon. I attended by myself. I didn't know anybody. I had signed up to play a few games. This was one of the games that I had signed up to learn and play. And it's so good. It's so good. So you have this rondelle, and on the rondelle, there'll be a bunch of disc or tokens and stuff on there to show what you can do. It could be that there's tokens for adding these different ingredients because we're monks. We're making ale, obviously. And we're trying to collect all of these ingredients to be able to do that. Now, when you get the token, and let's say it's like water, I can put the water on the dark side. It's going to cost me less, and that's going to eventually be able to create revenue. Or I could play twice as much, put it on the light side of the board, and that will eventually create growth on my track, which is really important. And once you have a village, either on the dark side or the light side, surrounded, you're going to tally up all the numbers that you have around it, and that's what you get to activate on the board. That's surrounding that particular village. So maybe you're trying to activate specifically to get up on the board, or maybe it's like, okay, well, it's only going to activate this one and this one, but I get to collect this much of it. Or maybe it's the monk that's on there, and you activate the monk, and the monk activates everything that's it's touching, which is great. Then you get to activate all these things. And as I mentioned, it's really important to go up on the track because at the end, you can trade whatever's at highest on your track for bring up what's lowest on your track, so you can kind of trade, and the amount that you trade depends on how far your monk has gone, so it's going to cover the ratio. So be like, okay, well, I can trade 3 for 1, so I'm going to go down 3, so bring that one up by 1. And so because you're trying to get them as close together, because your score is going to be your lowest multiplied by your highest on this track. So you're trying to get them all high. You do not gain from ignoring something here. You want to get them all up. This is not an entry-level game. It's not one's like, oh, you're getting introduced to board game. Let's play this one. There's a lot going in here. Mm-hmm. But once you start playing game, and if you're like, you reach this level, this is a really, really fun one.
Yeah.
And it's just so great. And that is my number one, Heaven and Ale.
Yeah, good pick. Yours were all on my list. Well, not all, but most of them were on my top 15. So it was, I'm glad that you mentioned them because I think all my games were covered then almost.
Then we get a good variety. Honestly, like when we do these top 9 games, especially like with these games, obviously we're looking at the same games.
Yeah.
We end up with very different lists. We're very different people.
But we do like to play a lot of the same games.
Right. So. Honestly, there's not a lot that makes it on your list. I'm like, why did you put that there? Actually, I would say none of them today. Yeah. But
we just have different favorites. That's the difference between us.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's great. All right. So on our next episode, we're going to be talking about one of 2 things, depending on when we get to it. So either we're going to be doing our top 9 games that reminds us of Alberta in one way or another. That's right. Or it's going to be our top 9 games that we end up playing at FallCon, because FallCon's coming up. FallCon's at the end of August, which is the largest board game convention in Alberta. Mm-hmm. This is one that we attend every year. Me and my friend Dave are live streaming from that event as well. So there'll be a lot of content that way also. And because I'm part of the Canadian Game Design Award, that's when we're introducing or announcing the winner. So that's super exciting. And did I mention there's an auction? Oh, and I have no
Bring a truck
when it was. I do bring a little cart.
Yeah.
It's close. But so depending on how everything falls time-wise, what we can fit in, it's going to be one of those two topics next. And then afterwards, it's going to be the other one. So yes, exciting times.
It is.
Yeah.
And yeah, look forward to our new platform too. That's going to be exciting.
Right. So once that's in place, because it'll probably take us a couple weeks to set that up, then we'll kind of do a more official, hey, you can also find us here.
Yeah.
But before we announce that officially, Carla, where can we find you?
So right now I'm on Instagram at Board Game Specialist, all one word, and I have a Facebook page called Red Deer Board Game Fanatics. What about you?
So be sure to join us on our Discord channel. We are very active on there. And we'll have the link in the comments. And then I'm also on Instagram at Mel's_boardgame_room. I also have a YouTube channel called Mel's Board Game Room. And I'm on Facebook and Bluesky under Mel's Board Game Room as well. So that is it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye for now.